Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello and welcome to episode 55 of this podcast.
This one podcast that you listen to called Twisted and Uncorked.
This one that you just listened to the intro for, but we're going to tell you again what it is.
Some people skip that, okay?
Yeah, that's true. I used to skip that on our podcast when I was listening to it.
Well,
until
in your
recently,
defense, you've listened to like 50 of them. So.
Right. Well, also, recently, we updated it, and it sounds fucking awesome now, and I love listening
really
to it. Like,
me too.
Not to toot our own horns, but toot, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Love them.
Listen to it if you haven't yet. If you missed the new intro, go back and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same words. We just sound way more confident, way more cool, calm, collected.
And Alicia has a better mic.
Me too, though. Okay, both of us. Our husbands are a little bit quieter. I have a fun fact for you today.
Tell me.
It is that it comes out of my Crazy Laws book because I fucking love this book. In Kirksville, Missouri, it is, or at least at one time, this is a very old book, unlawful to carry a human skeleton or part of one in the public ways.
What? Fucking last week or 2 weeks ago, we're talking ice cream in your back pocket, and now we're talking... Why would you do that?
I don't know, and I feel like it would be illegal anywhere, because how would you have gotten it?
Yeah, like unless you're a biology teacher, you have
or an
no
anthropologist,
business,
a forensic anthropologist.
Yeah. Unless you're either of those things, you have no business carrying around a skeleton with you.
In the public ways. Like, okay.
Yeah, right? Cool. Like, put your skeleton in a suitcase and carry it around shiftily like normal people. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like that.
What's your fun fact?
My fun fact will I hope make you laugh out loud like it did me. Sea cucumbers fight with their guts. Literally.
Okay. I feel like fighting with your gut is totally something I'd be good at. But also, what does a sea cucumber look like for it to be able to fight with its gut?
It literally looks like a big cylindrical blob.
I'm gonna Google it.
And they usually have spots, and when threatened, they'll shoot out their internal organs, which are poisonous to most predators. So when they're eaten, they're poisonous to predators too. So, I mean, at least that way they still get to live afterwards. Sometimes during the fight, they'll rid their entire digestive system, but their organs can grow back within 2 weeks.
Okay, well, they look...
horrifying?
I was gonna say super squishy and cuddly.
See, I feel like that tells us who we are as humans.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid of things in the ocean, so I'm out.
Okay. I mean, I don't like the ocean either, but...
Google it shooting out its guts, because that's even scarier.
Ew. Like,
yeah, they look like little worms.
Okay. I don't know if I like that.
You don't think you want to cuddle with them anymore, perhaps?
Oh my god. What? Ew. Ooh. Okay.
If anybody's not watching this on YouTube, this is a friendly reminder that we have a YouTube channel, and Sierra's really upset.
Yeah. Okay, so my kids have these giant stuffed animals now that I guess they're called squishmallows. And they're just like, it's basically what my Mothman feels like. So squishy. Except my kids are like, they have like giant ones.
Okay.
But they're so squishy and soft and you just want to squeeze them all the time. And that's what that looked like to me. Like you just,
fair.
cuddly, squeezy.
Fair.
Until it started shooting stuff out and now it looks inappropriate.
Like an Or like something that lived on a different planet, and how did it end up here?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, if
Don't like it
any of our
anymore.
listeners are curious, go look that up.
Well, I don't like that, but I do love this recipe.
Right?
Oh my god. So today's sangria, we are again using our Black Girl Magic Riesling for the last episode of February. We have mixed it with coconut Malibu rum and pineapple juice. You know me, I'm fancy, so I have a sugar rim.
Of course you
can
do.
see it.
Mine
And
just looks like
a
I
cherry
blended
inside.
something in a freaking glass.
Yeah. I have to say, this is delicious. However, the recipe that we found and, helped us to make this is one that was online. Usually whenever we find recipes, it's for a whole batch. And we don't make a whole batch. We just make a cup or two. And so it doesn't taste, it's supposed to be like a pina colada. And it doesn't taste like a pina colada to me because I think the measurements are off. But I only have myself to blame because I put more Malibu than I did pineapple juice. And you very clearly are only supposed to use a tiny bit of Malibu rum, but I fucking love Malibu rum.
Me too. I put 4 ounces in mine, and this is only 1 cup.
Mine is half rum.
Jesus Christ, and your jar is smaller than mine.
Yeah, mine's half
God
rum,
damn.
half wine, and just a little bit of pineapple.
So if you were
it's
to
really
add
good,
a
though.
little bit more pineapple, I think you'd be right where you need to be.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's still delicious.
It's so good. Like this.
I think I did too much pineapple because I did crushed pineapple, so I just poured the whole can in. So I think I did too much pineapple to coconut ratio. Really good though.
What do you rate it?
I'm gonna say like a 9. I really like it.
Yeah,
in the summertime, this will be I think we might have to bring it back.
Yeah, like this is poolside. God, I am missing summer so bad right now, which I never thought I would say. I am a spring and fall person, but this spring is having way too much winter. And I mean, I know it's technically not spring yet, but Jesus Christ, I thought it would be warmer by now. I can't wait for summer. When I am poolside, this is what I will be sipping. I gave the red pineapple sangria a 9.
Also.
This one's better than that. This is a 9.5.
Oh shit.
It's good. Love it. Okay, today we have another special topic episode for you. This is a catfish episode. So for this story, before we get into it, we do have another little bonus fun fact here, as well as another podcast plug because it goes well with my story. Did you know that Alaska is the state with the most serial killings? Meaning that you have the highest chance of becoming a victim of a serial killer by living in Alaska.
I'm gonna say no, but even though I know yes, and I know what podcast you're gonna plug, no, I've never heard that. That's crazy.
You have totally heard this. It's fine. The craziest thing about it to me, though, was that Ohio is often known and talked about for birthing a bunch of murderers. And Ohio is not even in the top 10 on the list of serial killings by state.
I know.
That's crazy to me.
I was surprised by that too.
Yeah. Thank you to 10ish Podcast for that information. If you are interested in knowing the rest of that top 10 list, you can head on over and check out episode 104 on 10ish Podcast, 10ish. Our friends Nick and Brandon provided that information to me, and I was like, whoa.
And it's not just true crime that they do, guys. You've seen them on our show before. You know what their
Yes.
kind of style is, but they do everything, so.
Awesome. So my story today is also about a killing in Alaska. Not a serial killing, though. A catfish killing. And it starts with a missing girl named Cynthia Hoffman in 2019. Cynthia Hoffman was 19 years old when she went missing but she had a developmental disability that caused her to have the intellectual abilities of a 7th grader. Despite the disability, she worked really hard to get to where she was. In high school, she had to work harder than others. She had multiple tutors and even had to change schools at one point so that she could get the work done that she needed to graduate. And she had just recently graduated when she sadly went missing. After graduating, she went to work with her dad at his repair business, and she was really good at it.
No.
Cynthia was very close with her dad and was raised with 4 sisters, 2 brothers, and 2 cousins, who she was all very close with. Although her parents were very protective of the family, they didn't hover. They had rules that they all understood and followed, like honesty and communication. And if a parent ever called, the phone was answered right away, no matter what was going on the other end. It reminded me a lot of, like, reading about this reminded me of Jennifer Kessie in Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the way that she was close with her parents.
We did a bonus episode on that back in September. Go check it out. I was thinking Madison Scott, episode 8.
Oh, yeah, her too.
With her dad and being all handy and such.
Yeah. Outside of the family, Cynthia tried to fit in and make friends, and she wasn't bad at it. She was just vulnerable and easily manipulated. In high school, she met who she called her best friend in an Instagram. Nope, sorry, cut that. Read it wrong. In high school, she met who she called her best friend in an Instagram post. It was 18-year-old Denali Bremer, but she went by Angela. No idea why. When hanging out with Angela, Cynthia also had a nickname, Cece, which is a little more understandable, but still not, like, completely. Like, Denali probably came up with that because Cynthia and Cece is different. I don't know. Maybe because it started with a C?
Maybe.
My cousins used to call me Cece because Sierra, even though my name started with an S, and I fucking hated it. I did not like being called Cece because my name started with an S and people always got it wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So it was the worst.
I mean, I get the same, like, sound, but
right.
That never
it's
struck me as
Sierra,
something short.
So
yeah.
C, but I was like, please don't. Like, that's not my name. Don't call me that. And then a lot of people started calling me Ray, which is my middle name, which I used to hate, and now I love it.
Kind of accepted.
Yeah, I like my middle name.
What
are your nicknames?
Very pretty.
We've talked about this before, I'm sure, but
my dad calls me Leashy, which I hate from anybody but my dad.
Oh.
And other friends of mine have called me Leisha, and one calls me Leashy Nut. Like a lychee nut,
okay.
But just because I'm a little goofy sometimes, I guess.
Interesting. My cousin who used to call me Cece, her name was Alicia also, and I would call her Lily, and she did not like that either. We just annoyed each other.
That's kind of cute, though.
Lily and Cece.
In elementary school, I got called Allie, which I never got because Alicia.
Yeah,
I get it,
strange.
but it's never like you think Allison or Alyssa.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. I like when names are pulled apart in ways that are different. Like Elizabeth, if they call them Beth instead of Liz, like everybody else. Or my
like Libby.
favorite. Oh, yeah. My favorite is also Elizabeth if they call them Eliza, which I know isn't shorter, but I'm just like, it's a different
cute.
part of the name. I don't know.
Unique.
Yeah, like Alexander Zandy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for our love of the Schieffer sibs.
Right. Anyway, Angela was the last person who saw Cynthia before she dropped her off at a local park and she disappeared. On June 2nd, 2019, Cynthia set out to go hiking with Angela, also with 16-year-old Caden McIntosh and 2 other friends at Thunderbird Falls. Afterwards, Cynthia texted her dad and said that Angela dropped her off at Polar Bear Park in Anchorage. but that was the last time Cynthia was seen alive. Twisted and Uncorked will be right back. If you prefer not to listen to ad breaks, head on over to patreon.com/twistedanduncorked for more information on receiving ad-free episodes. Her dad wasn't too worried about it that night. He assumed that his teenage daughter was probably out at the mall and then probably staying the night at a friend's house. He didn't want to hover over his daughter. She had graduated and was 19 now, so she was an adult. But the next day, on June 3rd, when he still hadn't heard from her, he called her cell phone. And when she didn't answer, that's when he knew something was wrong. She always answered her phone, no matter what. So he reported her missing the next day. Cynthia's dad was in contact with her best friend Angela, and they were trying to think of any reason why she might not be back home and where she could have gone. They didn't communicate for very long, though, because on June 4th, the police came across Cynthia Hoffman's duct-taped body on the banks of the Eklutna River. She's not missing anymore. I'm sorry. Speaking with police about the death of his little girl was the very first time that Cynthia's dad learned that Angela's real name was Denali Bremer. At that point, he became extremely suspicious of Denali, and the suspicion would be well placed, because Denali was soon after arrested for sexually assaulting 2 minor girls and recording it at the request of her millionaire boyfriend Tyler in Kansas.
Oh my God.
Denali had sent the videos to her boyfriend, affectionately named Babe, in her phone.
Oh.
As you can probably guess, there was no millionaire Tyler in Kansas. Babe was not a millionaire, he was not in Kansas, and his name was not even Tyler. Denali was being catfished. And as soon as she realized it, she told the police the whole story. We will get into that story in 1 second, but first we're going to learn a little bit about Tyler, also known as Babe, actually known as Darren Schillmiller. Tyler, aka Babe, aka Darren Schillmiller, was not a millionaire, and he did not live in Kansas.
Who's shocked?
I put this way later, but red flag number 1, millionaires don't live in Kansas, okay?
Right.
So...
Right? They'd pick somewhere a little bit more tropical and
right.
And sightsee than Kansas.
Yeah.
No offense to Kansas.
There's nothing in
but...
Kansas.
Yeah.
No
and
offense to
I
Kansas.
thought that this was such a perfect, special topic pick from our listeners because we just did Puppet Master on our Patreon. And patrons, you have 2 more episodes coming, but we recorded it well in advance, and it's wild. So,
yeah.
Just
well,
always...
I think by the time this is out, that's out. That's done.
Everything's out. You're right. You're right. We're really bad at thinking in the past and in the future, but go check that out. We talk about lots of life lessons.
Oh, and, God, that one was so crazy and sad.
Keeping up with your wits. Question everything, because anything that seems too good to be true usually is.
Right.
And this Kansas millionaire is just that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. You just wait till you learn more about this guy. Darren Schillmer was a 21-year-old living in Indiana with his adopted family, who took him in at a young age because his birth family didn't want him. He was born as a low-functioning individual, according to a quote provided by his adoptive family, but they never believed him to be dangerous. Unfortunately, there were many signs of his dangerous behavior, They were just never reported. Many of his classmates in high school remembered him to be shy, weird, and not extremely bright. But after he left
What a
school...
way to be described.
Right? After he left school and could hide behind fake social media accounts, that's when his behavior changed into something worth reporting. He would message girls over and over again, asking them for photos, asking them to take pictures in their bikinis, being a real fucking creep. He also made multiple social media accounts with different names, but the girls from high school that he messaged always knew it was him. He would message them, not just asking for pictures of them, but asking for pictures of their children.
Oh my god, I was really hoping that's not where you were going, but given
It's
what we
about
learned
to
earlier...
It's about to get worse. Like, big time worse. So, skip ahead like 3 minutes if you can't handle that.
And if you can handle, take a big ol' swig of your sangria.
Yes. According to Alaska news source, in a conversation with one woman, Darren told her that he had a problem and he wanted to confess to someone. He said he was going to confess to this woman, but first, he needed her to send him a picture of her daughter getting her diaper changed.
No.
Apparently, nearly all 600 members of the small town he lived in knew that he had this problem with wanting to look at naked young children and their dirty diapers. But everyone thought it wasn't a big deal because he was never around any young children and he was quote-unquote slow, so it was hard to be mad at him.
But that's not right.
No, there's plenty of quote-unquote slow people in the world, and they don't do this.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say, there's a difference between learning and,
yeah,
mental disabilities.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like that, and I am guilty of this because of my underdog syndrome. It's like the thing where people are like, oh, he had a bad childhood. No wonder he grew up to be a murderer. A lot of people have bad childhoods. They don't all grow up to be murderers.
Which
okay?
I will say, again, as we do every time we cover a shit stain, you can feel bad for the child version of them.
Right.
But don't feel bad for what they grew into. They can still choose.
Don't feel bad for the murdering or assaulting
adult version of them.
Of them.
Yeah. Yes, the poor child that got beat and humiliated, absolutely. That's horrible. But
yeah. A lot of people get beat and they don't turn into serial killers. So.
Exactly. They
no
turn
excuse.
into be wonderful people that nurture other people that are in bad situations. So.
Yeah.
And mental disabilities don't excuse you from that either. You can still learn the difference between right and wrong.
Right.
And that's wrong.
That's wrong. Yeah. Somehow, Darren met Denali through the internet and social media. Darren was using pictures of a younger and presumably more attractive teen than than himself on his social media profiles that he met her through, and was telling Denali that he was a millionaire living in Kansas. Again, millionaires don't live in Kansas. No offense, Kansas millionaires. If you're listening to this, let us know.
We love you. Come hang out, but
we don't believe you exist, so prove it. Prove it. Join Patreon.
Prove us otherwise, and then send us a picture of whatever view you have from your millionaire house, because we're not convinced.
Anyway, they talked long enough that Denali had fallen in love with this made-up person, Tyler. She loved him enough that when the made-up person and the real person personalities started to merge, she saw past his flaws. Which makes me want to vomit. But I know we have talked about before, Alicia, you and I, that we talked about if we would love our husbands through hypothetical crimes. And it's really hard to know how we would react in situations that we've never actually been in. But for comic relief, after the gross things we just heard, tell me something that is a huge pet peeve of yours that your husband does, and you love him through it anyway.
Oh, it's really easy. All of the dirty clothes just seem to live on his side of the bed rather than putting it in the laundry basket a foot away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the dish rags always on the counter, and then he complains that they stink, and it's like, well, maybe just hang them up, and that won't happen. Those are two of mine.
Yeah. Jesse leaves the kitchen cabinets open.
What
Every
the fuck?
single time he opens them, he does not close them. Every time I go into the kitchen, I have to close the cabinets. And I'm used to it at this point. I used to get super fucking annoyed, and I would slam them shut, like, so hard just so he would hear it and be like, oh shit, maybe I should shut it next time. But it never happened. He never started shutting them, and now it doesn't even bother me anymore. I just know that when I walk in the kitchen, I'm going to close some cabinets. Like, it's just a normal part of life. If I ever had a ghost who opened cabinets, I would never know. Like,
It's true. That's such a horror movie, like, poltergeist trope.
Yes,
It's leaving the cabinets open, and it's just Jesse.
My husband is the poltergeist.
It's okay. We have other weird shit that happens to us. Go and check out our social media
Oh
for
my
that, because
God.
it's everywhere. There's orbs. Sierra's mic is being rattled. Her bulletin board's on the floor.
Yeah.
Nothing good is happening
times. All right. Well, back to the gross stuff. Denali loved Tyler, aka Darren, enough that when he told her that he had problems, she looked past it.
Air bunnies.
Yeah, he told her in text messages that he had a child pornography fetish and often had rape fantasies.
Oh, those are two very separate and very scary problems.
Yeah, this did not sway Denali's love for Tyler, though.
Why?
Either she thought that money, good looks, and love were enough reason to be a shit person, or she was just destined to be a shit person with or without Darren entering her life. Because after this conversation with him, she adjusted her own interests into the same things. Not only did she allow it, she became interested as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Denali and Darren sexted each other for weeks about raping and killing someone together. Eventually, this sexual conversation turned really serious, and Darren told Denali that he would pay her $9 million to kill someone and record it for him. And for that much money, as well as Tyler's love, she couldn't turn it down.
I'm sorry, I want $9 million as much as the next person, but I would never do that.
She invited others to help her carry out the plan to kill someone. And the someone she chose was her vulnerable best friend, Cece.
Oh, no! I was wondering how this was going to loop back.
Yeah. Denali, Caden, and two others whose names were not disclosed because of their young ages.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way, when investigators leave child murderers out of the press?
I have to say, I think it's important because children's brains are not fully formed yet. I think in most cases when children are murderers, it's because they were talked into it, they were brainwashed, they were,
hyped up to
it's
do
not
it,
yeah it's not something that they would have chosen to do. And I would hate for them to grow up, be tried as a child, do their time, learn be reformed, and then go out into the world and no one wants to hire them because they were a murderer.
True.
Like, remember when we did The Pharmacist?
Yes.
What was that guy's name?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Hall.
It was a J, yeah. Jeffrey had killed
When he was 15.
Danny
so-
Jr., yeah, Danny, when he was so young, and you could tell in this interview with him, like, he regretted that. He didn't know what he
Yeah.
was doing. He was just a fucking kid. And I would
True.
hate for, you know, someone involved in something like this to you know, become 25 years old and be like, God, I fucking was a shit kid.
Yeah.
But that's not who I am now.
Yeah.
So-
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
mean, there are obviously like different cases where
Right. There's
we can
circumstances.
inspect it differently.
Yeah.
But this,
If they're
I totally
a serial
get it.
killer already at age 15,
Yeah.
maybe tell everybody their name.
Yeah.
Be
exactly.
warned.
Yeah. Be afraid. But I agree with that. You know, ex-cons have a hard enough time gaining a job and trying to make honest money when they have reformed themselves, let alone a child that's been in that environment as an adult now, and they're like, well, I'm just going to keep doing crime because
What else can
How
I
else
do?
am I supposed to make money? Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Denali, Caden, and the two others whose names were not disclosed because of their ages had all planned to kill Cynthia and record it, and they would split the $9 million.
Ugh.
And a fifth person, Caleb Leland, who was 19, was also aware of the entire plot, did not want to be involved in the killing, but allowed the four killers to use his vehicle for a $500,000 payment.
Shit, that's a steep price for a car, but
Well,
also
so-
you're just as bad if you're going to fucking let people
Denali,
do that.
Caden, Caleb, two unnamed people, and a sixth person, which is Darren, all knew that this teen who had struggled her way through school, finally just graduated, was going to be killed.
I hate
And not
that.
a single one of them reported it to the police.
I hate that so much.
Yeah. So what actually happened on June 2nd
I don't want to
was that while they were hiking, Denali, Caden, and the two minors pulled out some duct tape and tied Cynthia's hands and feet and covered her mouth. Cynthia's father believes that there's a possibility she was completely willing and allowed them to put the duct tape on her, thinking that they were just pretending for photos, or maybe they
Goofing
even told
around.
her that Tyler was going to pay them and she was going to get some money for helping fake the pictures too. But it wasn't just pretend.
Oh.
After the four of them got Cynthia tied up, Caden shot Cynthia in the back of the head with a 9mm pistol. While Denali was recording and taking pictures on Snapchat the whole time, sending them to Darren at his request. Then, sorry, I don't know if I could read this sentence. Then they pushed Cynthia's body into the creek while she was still alive, convulsing, and barely breathing.
Oh, those monsters.
Denali used Cynthia's phone to text Cynthia's dad saying that she was being dropped off at the other park.
I'm sorry. I know we feed off of each other, and that made
I
me tear
know,
up.
you're killing me.
I'm so sorry. Oh.
After
rid of it.
Cynthia's body was found, the first person that police suspected was Denali because she was the last person to be seen with her. But they didn't have anything more than suspicion to go on. That was until Darren started trying to be more controlling of Cynthia. Now that he had convinced her to literally kill someone, and he had proof of it, he felt that he could get her to do anything. She claims that he began blackmailing her with the Snapchat videos. Right after the murders, Denali sexually assaulted two young girls who were 9 and 15 and sent Darren the videos at his request and for his enjoyment. It was around this time, with quote-unquote Tyler blackmailing Denali and her not getting her $9 million, that Denali finally realized she might be being catfished.
Ugh.
And when police questioned her, she admitted to everything and threw everyone under the bus with her. Denali, Caden, Caleb, and the two unnamed teens were all charged with first and second degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. It's not known what happened with the two minors, but the three others all pleaded not guilty to the crimes. Denali also faces charges of child pornography, along with Darren, who has the added charge of coercion. He was extradited to Alaska for these charges. He, too, pled not guilty. Unfortunately,
I'm sure you're gonna get into this, but because it was all through Snapchat, was everything deleted after 24 hours, or were they able to recover it, or?
Yeah, they recovered it. Unfortunately, since the crimes were committed in the second half of 2019 and COVID hit in 2020, there are no new updates on trials and convictions for any of these four terrible humans I just mentioned. But on top of the COVID-related weight, prosecution has fallen into more and more and more evidence as the social media sources allow them into more accounts, like the Snapchat one. According to the Casual Criminalist website, at least 2 delays have been requested so far so that they can pick through the hundreds and thousands of pages of evidence.
Oh my God.
There's so much information. So obviously, I mean, they're going to be found guilty. It just depends on what for specifically. Denali, just with the child pornography crimes of her sending images of her sexually assaulting minors to Darren, she's facing 80 years minimum. Maximum for those, but not including the murder. So I think she'll definitely be in jail. Darren is facing a shit ton of child pornography crimes. Some people, because Darren lives in Indiana and operates through Snapchat, some people are curious to if he talked some other person into killing Abby and Libby. So there's that. There's no information as of right now as to if that's true or rumor.
This is all hypothetical.
Crazy.
But they did just release something that said they're closer than ever. So
right.
I wonder if this is all related.
Yeah, it sounds like there's like a whole fucking army of child predators on Snapchat. And no offense, Snapchat, but I hope Snapchat gets shut down. Fuck that shit. My kid literally asked me yesterday. She's like, can I just have a Snapchat? I don't need a TikTok. I just want a Snapchat. And I was like, no. You will never have a Snapchat until you don't live in my house.
You can't monitor it. So
and it literally gives your 24 hours location.
You can turn that off, but yes, I understand.
Yeah, I turn mine off, but I have never seen anyone else turn theirs off. Well, that's that. On that. Yikes on bikes. We will update you when we get an update, but right now, that's it. That's all I got.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. For updates, follow Twist Sierra on social media as well as ours, because she'll probably post it on hers first, but that's fine. She's affiliated with us. It's fine.
Yeah. Is today March 1st?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I said in the beginning of this episode that this was the last day of February. Yesterday was the last day of February.
February is a short month in your defense.
It is a short month. So I was confused.
Sorry. I misunderstood the assignment. It's fine. It still counts. One day later. Why is February so short? What are the Mayans? What is our calendar? I have questions, but that's a separate issue. And you can check out our website and all that fun stuff for updates too. We will post wherever we can for what's happening with this.
We will.
That's wild.
I know
it. Good job.
Thank you.
A friendly reminder to go check out our Patreon and check out our Puppet Master episodes, because those were wild too. Mm-hmm. And stay safe, guys. Turn off your locations on Snapchat.
For sure.
Sierra, what day is it today?
Well, we just said it was March 1st, but on this day in 1872, Yellowstone National Park became the world's first ever national park. And that just makes me happy.
I didn't know that. I love
Yeah.
that. We're big nature lovers, guys.
Yeah, I literally have a degree in outdoor recreation, so there's
That's so cool. Huh. Go enjoy some outdoor time, guys.
Do it.
I just posted about that on my social media too, because it's easy to get wrapped up in everything you have to do
Yes, definitely.
and not take that. Just take a 15-minute walk if you can.
I wrote this story today on my porch, so.
Wonderful. Oh, good job. We will see you guys next week for another episode. This is the wrap up of all of our categories, so you get to look forward to a serial killer.
Woo!
But we're not going to tell you what it is because we want you to come back and find out.
Yeah. It's a good one, I promise.
We do promise. And stay safe, and in the meantime,
Keep it
twisted. Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!